个职业机器了？我
他都翻了。
战地记者来了，你看这车。
Ladies and gentlemen, on the 11th of July, 2025, an unprecedented disaster is engulfing central China. Under immense pressure from the surging upstream floodwaters, the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric project in the world, was forced to release emergency flood discharges, even as relentless rainfall continued without pause. The result has been a chain reaction of devastation. The provinces of Hubei and Hunan, both densely populated, were quickly overwhelmed. Thousands were forced to evacuate in the middle of the night. Entire neighborhoods vanished from the map within hours. By morning, the scene was catastrophic. Homes submerged beyond their rooftops, cars drifting aimlessly in muddy waters, and once bustling streets now transformed into rivers of destruction. In Enshi, Hubei province, unceasing rains over 3 consecutive days pushed water levels to record-breaking heights, with some areas flooded up to 3 meters deep. Thousands of homes were swept away. Crops across millions of hectares were destroyed. Bridges and roads cracked and collapsed. Power and communication systems were completely knocked out. In the darkness, residents had no choice but to climb onto rooftops, waving flashlights or pieces of clothing in a desperate cry for help. Some wept as they watched their entire hometown slowly drown beneath the rising floodwaters, an image that will haunt them for life. In Hunan province, more than 600 households lost everything. Entire homes collapsed, leaving behind only skeletal ruins. Many residents reported receiving no warning about the dam discharge or that alerts came too late, with floodwaters crashing in during the dead of night. In Longshan town, the entire residential area was submerged in just a few hours. Locals say this is the worst flood in decades, possibly even surpassing the catastrophic flood of 1998. More than 10,000 rescue personnel, including military troops, armed police, and local emergency forces, have been deployed. Helicopters and high-speed boats are working non-stop to reach isolated areas. Emergency supplies such as food, clean water, and medical materials are being rushed to evacuation centers in a race against time. Forecasts warn that in the next 48 hours, heavy rains will continue to pound the Yangtze River basin. The threat of compound flooding, landslides, and complete loss of control is rapidly growing. The Chinese government has activated the highest level of disaster response and is urging citizens to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Dozens of communities are now completely cut off. Schools are closed. Roads are barricaded. Rescue teams are battling treacherous conditions to reach those trapped in dangerous zones. In several towns, rainfall exceeded 394 millimeters within 24 hours, shattering all previous meteorological records. The drainage systems became severely overwhelmed, and floodwaters rose so high that they entered the second floors of many homes. In response to the emergency, over 160 rescue workers were urgently dispatched to inspect riverbanks, reinforce levees, distribute food, and carry out evacuations. Thanks to the swift efforts of local authorities and emergency teams, more than 680 households, including the elderly, children, and people with disabilities, were safely relocated. In Zhangjiajie, a region famed for its majestic limestone peaks, sudden flash floods destroyed major roads and left over 200 households completely cut off. The Medusi River overflowed, submerging farmland just entering harvest season. Frustrated residents reported that dam discharges were carried out without early warning, leaving them no time to prepare or escape. In Namfeng Village, Longshan County, amid a downpour in the middle of the night, floodwaters suddenly burst into a home where a family of 4 was asleep. The father managed only to grab his 6-year-old youngest child and climb onto the collapsing roof. His wife and older child were swept away before his eyes. When rescue workers reached him, he sat motionless on the broken rooftop, his bloodied arms cradling his small child. His eyes were hollow, fixed on the raging floodwaters below. He choked out, "I heard my child calling for me in the water, but I was helpless. I couldn't do anything." What was once a lively neighborhood has now turned into a churning river of muddy water. No one dares step outside. A single misstep could mean being swept away without a trace. As of now, more than 500,000 people have been evacuated from the hardest-hit areas, including Shaanxi, Zhangjiajie, Changde, and Huaihua. These once idyllic regions now lie in ruins and despair. Major rivers such as the Li River, the northern branch of Liangjiakou, and the Kuali River have all surpassed the highest red alert levels. In Hunan province alone, 178 reservoirs are either overflowing or at serious risk of collapse. From the western mountain ranges to the lower Yangtze River basin, people are living in constant fear. Just one more heavy downpour, just one more weak section of a levee, and everything could be wiped out. Forecasts for the next 3 days offer no relief. Torrential and extremely heavy rain is expected to continue. The risk of landslides, sinkholes, and bridge collapses is rising by the hour. Disaster could strike again at any moment. According to China's Ministry of Water Resources, this is the heaviest rainfall since the beginning of the flood season and possibly the most severe in the past decade. In response, the government has activated Level 1 emergency response, the highest level in the country's disaster management system. The Three Gorges Dam, long hailed as a symbol of China's modern hydraulic engineering, is not just a colossal construction. It also represents a massive geopolitical and environmental challenge. With a storage capacity of 39.3 billion cubic meters and a power generation capacity nearing 22,500 megawatts, the dam was designed to regulate floods, generate electricity, and improve inland navigation. But in reality, when water levels hit red alert status and the pressure exceeds structural limits, releasing floodwaters is no longer a choice. It becomes an unavoidable order to protect the dam itself. However, the price of that decision isn't paid by the engineers or decision makers. It's borne by millions of people living downstream. Places like Wuhan, Anqing, Zhejiang, and Nanchang, still recovering from previous floods, have now been inundated again. The massive discharge has wiped out entire villages, swept away crops, and left countless residents with no place to call home. What's worse, a lack of transparency in the flood warning system left many without time to evacuate, leading to casualties and chaos. Hydrology and environmental experts have long warned that no matter how massive it is, the Three Gorges Dam cannot replace a comprehensive flood management strategy. Relying on a single megastructure to control floods is not only unsustainable, but also dangerous, especially when that structure becomes a double-edged sword. In an era of increasingly extreme climate change, floods no longer follow predictable patterns, and instead of being a protective shield, the Three Gorges Dam could become the spark that ignites future disasters. The rain will eventually stop, but the pain and loss will linger for a long time in the hearts of those affected. In the midst of the storm, the most precious thing that remains is human compassion, the sense of solidarity, kindness, and hope. If you found this content meaningful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss more stories of humanity, where together we weather the storms of this world.